Hi guys, welcome back to Miller RC. Today we're going to be doing a review on the FlightLine RC Spitfire Mk.IX. This is the 1200mm version, so you've got a wingspan of 47¼ inches and a length of 42½ inches. Your weight is about 1,400 grams without the battery, which is going to equal up to about 5 pounds, I believe, is what was stated on the website. So this is going to come as a plug-and-play version, which means you're going to have to supply your battery, transmitter, receiver, and charger to get this up in the air. Now you've got a power setup of you got a 60 amp brushless ESC. You've got a 3748 580 kV brushless motor up front, and you've got 6 servos, 2 metal gear, and 2 plastic gear. This is a 6-channel, so you have aileron, elevator, rudder, flap, retracts, and throttle. So you're going to have to require a 6-channel receiver to get this flight ready. Now, as far as some of the features, you've got a really nice scale 4-bladed prop. The tips came painted from the factory. You can see they're a little scuffed up because we did want to take it, make sure it's flying good, find any minuses through the flight that I can find. So, you got a really nice prop up front. You can see you've got a nice feature for cooling. You've got 2 holes in the spinner, and that allows air to pass in through the spinner, past the back plate, into your motor, and further on into your ESC. Now that works really well. With my setup that I'm using, I've felt all the electronics, battery, ESC, and motor, and nothing has seemed to even hardly get warm at all. So they've got a really nice setup in there. As far as other scale details, you've got nice exhaust stacks right up front there. You've got the cannons as far as these little, I'm not exactly sure what those are, but you got some nice mold details. You've got, I believe that's something like an ammo box. I'm not entirely sure. And further up, you've got a mirror that is just glued on there. You've got pilot inside, and you've also got a little paper dashboard in there as well. Further back, you've got a nice antenna that is removable. And you've got also another nice little mold detail. I think that would be a light in the full scale. And this one does not have lights, but it would be pretty nice, and I'm sure it would probably be pretty easy to get lights. But go ahead and take a look at the underside of the model. You can see another really nice feature to have. You've got nice metal reinforced metal plates there on the retracts. As far as metal trunnions, you've got servoless retracts on both sides. You've got your nice radiators here, as well as this scoop. This is a really nice detail. You actually have 2 scoops that comes in the kit. This is the shorter one, and the longer one extends up the nose somewhere up in the range of around there. So you can see your electronics on the wings. You've got your flap servos and your aileron servos. You've got 1 servo for each aileron and 1 servo for each flap. Now you can see you've got nice hinge points for the split flaps. And if we turn it back down here, you can see the how nice and tight they fit up against the wing. And if I kind of separate them, you can see they are true split flaps. Inside of the split flaps, you have nice plastic hardeners or plastic strips to help keep the shape of the split flap so that they don't warp or get bent out of shape, so that they're going to stay nicely conformed up to the wing. As far as the tail, you've got a pretty much basic tail besides the system that a lot of FlightLine models are using. You've got the servo inside the fuselage coming up to the tail wheel, which has got a servo arm. The tail wheel moves, and on the other side, you can see down there, you've got the control horn coming out the other side with your linkage going to your rudder, and it seems to be working pretty good. I haven't had any issues or flaws with it so far. As far as over time, it seems to be holding up so far, but we'll have to see. Now, you get basic decals already installed when you get the model. You have the roundels on the top and bottom of the wing, as far as the well as these nice little yellow leading edge stripe thingies. The yellow leading edge, I'm not sure what they are. On the wing also you have this nice black piping, I guess is what they call it. And then you've got the fin flash on the back of the rudder. And that is what comes stock with the model. And then you can customize it to what you want. You can see here, you can customize it to Klostermans, which is what this is. This model here. Or you can have Johnny Johnson, which is another option. And of course you can go with just customizing it to your own likings and getting what you would prefer. So, as far as internal setup, I'll go ahead and break open the hatch. I had to replace the Velcro strap because it was too small to wrap around my batteries. You've got a Dean's connector, or a T-plug, that comes stock with the model. And then you've got this nice wooden plate that protects and kind of holds your ESC, which is under there, holds it in place. This Velcro strap here going down the center, that does not come stock. I just installed it to add extra security to my battery. Now, further down the model, you've got your receiver here. This is where I mounted it. I'm not sure where other people did. And then further on back, you've got your servos for your rudder and elevator. And that's pretty much it besides your motor mount. It's got a nice X mount configuration up front that it holds your motor in quite securely. The hatch is held on with a magnet, and you got just a little clear plastic piece of tape to hold it in place. Or not hold it in place, but for enable you to lift it up. You've got a magnet that holds it in place. As far as the negatives, I've only been able to find a few. Number one, I noticed right out of the box when he flew it, was one of these split flaps. The control horn was not glued in properly. It was loose. I added CA and it kept coming loose. I finally was able to fix the problem by adding glue inside on the internal portion of the split flap to really help with holding that in place. As far as all the other control horns, nothing has been unglued yet. With those, it has just been that one split flap. Another negative is the CG recommendation in the manual that comes with your plane is going to be 73 millimeters. On Motion RC's website, it will, on their PDF manual, it will state 80 millimeters. The correct one is going to be 80 millimeters. The 80 millimeter range is, if you can see this panel line running down the fuselage, kind of down onto this fairing here. That is where my 80 millimeter mark ended up. Of course, you always want to measure to make sure, because other models, that mark may vary forward and back. But that 80 millimeter mark is where I had it, and I have hardly even a click of trim on my transmitter. It works out really, really nicely. 73 millimeters would probably work, but you'd be really nose heavy. So now, one other minus that I've found is when I go into a dive while simultaneously pulling up, kind of like a split S maneuver, the plane tends to drop out to the right. Kind of, if I'm diving, it'll kind of want to drop a wing out to the right. I'm not sure if this is a high-speed tip stall or if it's just something with the airframe. I've checked the elevators, they pull up even, and I just haven't been able to figure out what it is. I'm not sure if it's just my model or if it's the entire FlightLine Spitfire, if it's a common problem. Although I haven't heard any reviews of this thing having that issue, so I would suspect that it's just my model. So that's pretty much it for the negatives. There are a few more features on here, some minor features and subtle features. You've got washout on the wings, the trailing edge of the wings, and that really helps with the tip stall. I fly on low rates all the time, and when I pull back to get into a stall, it will not drop the wing. It is really close, right on the edge, but it doesn't quite drop the wing. As soon as I flip to high rates, it will drop the wing, but I fly on low rates all the time, so really I don't have much of an issue with the tip stalls. So that is pretty much it for the FlightLine RC Spitfire Mk.IX. This has been Miller RC. See you next time.